And welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for episode 6 of The Wheel of Time. A review sort of recap without main plot spoilers. I've been given specific things that I'm not allowed to talk about as per usual. This is similar to what I've done with episode 5 and 4, and you guys seem to have enjoyed them for the most part, so we're just going to keep along the same sort of issues. If you hear any noise in the background, it's my cat playing in a box. So episode 6, I was expecting to be a lot more fast-paced action, up the wazoo. I heard some rumors on the internet. This is not the case. I presume that the story culminates is gonna be episode 7 and 8. But what we have in episode 6 is a much slower episode than we had in episode 5. So some of you might go, oh, but I know a lot really enjoyed episode 5 because it gave us a lot of time to kind of get to know characters more, to get to know the city, to understand what the Aes Sedai do in their kind of capital and their building, and who controls the seat. This time round we get to see more of that and kind of relationships that have been stewing, that have been boiling over. Those continue to kind of butt heads, and we see the culmination or the repercussions of events that have happened in the past few episodes and like long history that kind of comes butt to head in the politics of the Aes Sedai. But I will say that you see a couple of their powers manifest, or how their powers are used. The one power I thought was beautifully done in this episode, and not that it hasn't been beautiful in the previous episode. I just really liked what they did with it. And there's a character that was revealed in the last episode that has a big thing to do in this episode, but it very much feels like the beginning of a series, this episode. By the time you reach at the end of episode 6, you will feel like you're starting to go on a journey with the Lord of the Rings sort of characters, which is weird considering how close we are to the end. But I think you'll understand where the story is going once you get there. For the most part, the thing that really stood out to me this episode was the score and the way they used the one power. I think those are the two things that I thought I found really interesting. There is a story reveal of a relationship that I thought, I wonder if that's in the books. I'd love to know once you watch the episode. Let me know if a relationship is in the books, or was that something they wrote for the TV. If it is, that I imagine that would upset people. The costume design, once again, is fantastic. The score, like I said, is a thing that shines pretty much every episode, but really for me, I was like, wow, this is evoking an emotional response with what is happening on screen, which is a great way just to add another layer to the series that we're getting. Each of our protagonists, sort of heroes that don't want to be heroes, that are forced into a situation now, Mat and the gang, are forced to confront that they kind of don't have a choice with what's going on, because it's like chosen by the wheel. That's just been thrust upon them, and so now that we have been seeing some of their powers being manifest or starting to manifest, and what that entails for each of them, they have a decision to make whether they're actually just going to turn their backs on it, or they're going to go and try and save everyone, I guess. And I thought that was an interesting wrestling moment. I would have liked them to have wrestled with that a bit longer in this episode. I do feel like we needed more episodes in this series. Like, where it slows down, I feel like you could speed up. And where it's sped up, I feel like you could slow down. Now that I know that we're in the crux of it, like the last couple of episodes, in the next 2 weeks for the season, and then we'll have to wait who knows how long because of COVID and filming for a sequel that would take maybe 2 years to get to. Hopefully not, but that's the thing that's been happening with TV series recently because of COVID. Some people have been waiting 3 years for the next helpings, and then by that time you've forgotten, you don't really care. So it's interesting to me that there's only 8 episodes in this series. We're at episode 6 now, and it feels like the beginning of a storyline. I really like some of the things that they've done with this series, especially like the use of, from an outside perspective, with no one that haven't read the books, you come and you see their use of magics, which is the one power, and it's a very interesting way to use that. The costume designs, the world feels very lived in, all of that. In episode 6, I think kind of shines a light, which is why it's a much slower pace. You see motivations of characters, relationships that have been built from the past, really kind of rearing its ugly head, I guess. And then we see what our heroes, non-heroes, are up to. And it's like placement in a chess match. They're all ready to go, but we haven't quite gone yet. Does that make sense? So I enjoyed it, but I think some people that found episode 5 really slow, you're going to find 6 even more. I found it really interesting. Looking forward to what they're going to be doing with this kind of setup of episodes 7 and 8. Thanks so much for watching this. Let me know your thoughts below. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.